All right. So we are live. Let me get the music.
Don't take me off. Don't take me off. Expert. Don't take me off. Viking. Tell them if we on the stage. On the stage. On the stage. Tell them if we on the stage. On the stage. On the stage. Oh, this whole place come a shop. They come in to take way up. Whole place come a shop. They come in to take way up. Whole place come a shop. They come in to take way up. Whole place come a shop. They come in to take way up. Give me 1 minute extra. Just a minute extra. And just show the papers on the colors and the texture. Let me push my hand out like the gases from my best friend. Everybody let me see you.
Yes, Livy on the stage, Livy on the stage, Livy on the stage. So good evening, Mr. Romando.
Pleasant evening, Mr. Devon.
All right, so we are live. Let me just make sure here that we are nice. We are live on YouTube. So we are coming through very well and good. So everything is copacetic. How you think this was to say? And we are ready. So we good on YouTube. Let us go now to let me go and just check something here because Facebook has been giving me some good links these days. Right? They have been giving me some good links these days. And oh, people only sending friend requests, sending friend requests. All right, so oh, I am so stupid. I on the wrong thing. Let it tell you. All right. So let me just make sure. Let me just make sure that we, because boy, there's hitting me some shots on the Fearless Warrior and the other pages. So you just gotta make sure and get these things ready. All right. So they hit me the shot again. So director, if you could just check those streams, I really don't know, but I am not getting it on my end. I'm not getting it on my end at all. I don't know. So okay, so I just share the YouTube link. I don't know why I'm not getting it on. But let me go ahead. It has been a stressful day today, and a lot of things that have been happening, and I think people are fully aware and that we are on and we are here. So let me go because I just can't be that I'm not seeing it, but okay. But okay, so I will have to share the and all right. So good evening, Mr. Ando. Go ahead, Romando. I hear you.
Okay, yes, I'm sorry. Got lost there for a moment while you were getting things organized.
And tell us where you're hailing from.
Central Trinidad.
Ah, so you're riding from Central Trinidad. Yes, because you know the Dauntless Defenders is now in creating our new crew. We have Central riding before the West. Now the West was supposed to ride in before Central, but Central riding before the West. Strange enough, because Central ride is sort of reaching before North. I don't know. Sometimes when you reach when you close to home, apparently like North is so well, I will reach late. But nevertheless, the third defender will come in eventually. And that is a secret that we will not be revealing to the public until that time comes. Yes, so we're dealing with good governance, Roman, and we're dealing with good governance in terms of Trinidad and Tobago, and even with some of the organizations, whether NGO, public service, government service, private service. I want to deal with something that is really touching tonight in terms of race within parties. I want to deal with that because for far too long I've been hearing about racial tension in the country, and to me, I don't think we have a race problem in Trinidad and Tobago. I think we have a caste system in Trinidad and Tobago that seems to be like, okay, he have more than me, or I have more than he, or I feel like better than he, is the situation that we have in Trinidad. And not the reality, and people are not focusing on whether or not if this divisiveness that has been taking place and being perpetuated through the political landscape, is it causing damage and hurt to our country as a cosmopolitan country? Is it really doing anything to further the growth and development of the people of Trinidad and Tobago? I want to hear your comments on
it. Okay. Here's the thing, Deva.
Mm-hmm.
Now, like yourself, I've been hearing the same thing for quite a period of time. Unfortunately, it has nothing to do with politics, but everything to do with people's personal choices that they make. Now, when someone says race or they speak of race, I tend to wonder what race are they speaking of? Is it a particular race or a particular culture? Because I'm going to be standard corrected if I am wrong, but I am of the opinion that in Trinidad and Tobago, the culture is one. I don't see it being cultural. People need to understand and differentiate between their religion and their culture. And I think that's the biggest problem there. So I wouldn't blame it on race. And I know where you're heading with this, You're looking at some statements that was made some time ago about PNM is not attractive to Indo-Trinidadians. Likewise, the Afro-Trinidadians does not see the UNC as attractive to them. That could not be further from the truth. Let me draw your attention to something as from the PNM perspective. When you speak race, one must be careful. It only tells me two things. One, you do not know the history of the PNM, nor do you know the history of your own country. Because if one were to examine the first cabinet put together by the PNM by Dr. Eric Eustace Williams, the late father of the nation, one must understand the composition of that cabinet. In that cabinet, you had more people of non-Afro descent sitting in that first cabinet than people of Afro descent. Now, those who wish.
Wait. Let me pause right there. Let me pause right there. Were you now saying the Romando?
Yes.
There were people of more East Indian race than
Not
African.
necessarily, not necessarily East Indians. The
Mm,
cabinet was so diverse that
mm,
every group in the country literally found their equal place in the cabinet, the first cabinet of Trinidad and Tobago. And I can say this without fear of contradiction. The Afro-Trinidadians in the cabinet were outnumbered by the other races. If anything, the Afro-Trinidadian in the cabinet of the first cabinet of Dr. Williams
mm.
would have been just about par with the East Indian members of the cabinet. One needs to look at these things. Listen to the composition. You had people, okay, Dr. Eric Eustace Williams was the chairman of that cabinet.
Yes.
But here's the thing. You had people like Donald Granado, Larry Constantine, Gerard Montano, Kamaluddin Muhammad, Winston Mahaber. Now stop me when you think I'm going overboard, but I'm just pointing out just a few, eh?
Mm-hmm.
And these were the mainstay of the cabinet. Now, tell me, how many people of Afro descent did you hear me speak of? I do not speak of Williams because he was of mixed descent.
Yes. Yes.
So
But
tell me how many. Go on,
no,
I'm listening.
no, but where people get in this thing that PNM is an Afro-based party and it is not a diverse party, why one sector of the society believes that this party is our party, and if it is that we don't have a party or we don't have something to be recognized to hold on to, that is the end of we. When again is we from?
Well, look, it's quite simple. It is quite simple. This is what you call the stragglers, the leftovers from a post-colonialistic era. It was easier to manage a country and it's a simple process, divide and rule. And that is what the whole thing was about. Let me point out to you, Mr. Welch.
Mm.
My grandfather, Rampersad Maharaj, was a member of the PNM, the foundation member of the PNM. Now you just imagine for one moment, a so-called Indo family living in the heart of the sugar belt, being a member and an outspoken member of the PNM. And you are surrounded by those who at that time were members of the PDP or later on the DLP and so on. The thing is, and I certain most of your listeners would remember this name, Kalauti Rampersad. She contested for the PNM in 1981 and 1986. The fact remains, anyone who says that there were no East Indians in the PNM, they're sadly mistaken. It means they don't know the history of the party. And I strongly suggest the Education Committee of the PNM start a vigorous program to educate its members as to where the PNM came from and where we are heading. And let me make abundantly clear, and I boast of this, I am now and always have been and always will be a member of the People's National Movement. Because if I didn't, my mommy would be rolling in her grave. And believe me, she'll smack me. So I hope this adds a little bit of clarity, Mr. Welch, as to where we are going.
So where people get in this whole notion that PNM is an Afro-based party and not an all-inclusive party, where people getting that from? Because at one point in time, no, because at one point in time, the former prime minister, which was Dr. Eustace, the founder of the nation, he would have made it clear that, well, he not make it clear, but he would have forged ahead, not having no kind of party like a nationalist party that would be only one race, but an all-inclusive race. So where people getting this thing from, and why we in this 21st century, you have people pushing that agenda down the throats of the Afro Trinidadian, making them believe that if it is that they don't subscribe to this or they don't subscribe to that, they will be punished. There will be this, there will be that. Why is they doing that? Because when they do that, Romando, when they do that, are they not telling the East Indians who want to come to the party that they can't come to the party?
Well, it's a simple thing. One must understand the history and the development of the country as a whole to fully understand where this piece of talk is coming from. You must remember, early o'clock, when Dr. Williams first launched the PNM, and just about the same time after, Bades Sagan Maharaj launched the PDP. You must understand, the oil workers portrayed a double loyalty, one to their union and two to the PNM, to Eric Williams. And then you had Bades Sagan Maharaj, who came about and formulated a plan to get the sugar workers to stand with him by simply stating, if you look like me, you should stand with me. And I believe that was a part of the original plan of the colonial masters, so as to divide and rule. But here's the thing, Dr. Williams, as an educator, as an intellectual, did not see it that way. He thought, and rightly so, every citizen in this country should have a voice. Every citizen should have a say in the development of their country. And every citizen should contribute to the development of the country. And so it should be, and rightfully so. And I think that that mentality, while today we are saying that that is a mentality and that is portrayed some 50 years ago, one must understand, good things tend to die quickly. Bad things tend to stay around for a long time. You know, so I am stating, and I make no apologies for this. The fact remains, there will always be some people. There will always be some people who are divisive in nature. Their nature is to divide, whether it is within the PNM or the UNC or the DLP before or the PDP before. There will always be those who will want to divide, simply because it provides them with their own personal agenda to realize their own personal agenda, which means promoting themselves. I could care less about promoting myself. I'm PNM and that's it. End of story. You can say what you want. You can question my loyalty to the PNM all you want. But I can tell you this. Before some of you were a twinkle in your daddy's eyes, I was there and I am still here. I hope that explains a bit, Mr. Welch. Well, it would seem that Devon has stepped out of the room for a little while. Not certain what the problem is, but I'm sure the onlookers and the callers and the viewers, some of you would have questions. And I presume you would be curious as to why I'm saying what I'm saying. By all means, ask your questions, make your comments. Just be respectful in how you make your comments. I really don't care who criticizes me. So while we are waiting for Mr. Devon Welch to get back, I would like to just a little bit to say a few things that you may find interesting and educational. The fact remains that people like Badiz Sagan Maharaj and Dr. Eric Williams, Dr. Winston Mahabir, um, Dr. Rutunath Kapil, they were all the forebearers, the forefathers of our country. They're the ones who set the stage for us to be where we are today. And needless to say, in their day, they would have spoken freely without fear of anyone contradicting them. Today, I know there are people who will want to contradict me, and I ask you to do so respectfully.
I do humbly apologize. Yes, I do humbly apologize for that. We did have a break in the electricity that knocked us out. Yes, I do apologize for that. The electricity did knock off the, but we are back. We are back. We are back, and we are getting back up things back up and running, so that we will be going back over to the mainstream, the main screen, in fact. But we are here and we are back up. Romando, where could we get we guests back inside? Romando, yes. So could we get our main people back inside? Because this is a very important topic that we are discussing this afternoon, and we are going to be trying to get back. Yes, the power is back up. Yes, the generator has sprung into action. So we are going to be very right back up and running very, very soon. And yes, so we are entering now. So you are going to see me on the main screen. So look out and we will be right in on the mainstream in 2 minutes. So Romando, please, I do apologize for that, but the current knocked us out. All right, shut off one in order for one to be there. So I'll be shutting down now on this side in order to connect back onto the mainstream. That's how technology works, and that's how we're gonna make it work. All right. Let me just get rid of one here. So you see, just now, Romando, let me just see what this. All right. All right. So let me just bring back one of my guests here. Right. I do apologize about that.
Not a problem, Mr. Welch.
Yeah, I do apologize about that. Current just knocked me off just so tonight, boy. Right? Current just knocked me off. And you know how the things go, as we say in Trinidad and Tobago. Let me just close off this part here. Yeah, so we're back onto the main screen actually. And director, is it possible you could take off? Yes, Mr. David Clark. It was to Devon on the screen. That's technology. I told you cameras will work in mysterious ways, you know. But director, could you take off the center one for me, please, from the screen, so that it will not affect us from this angle here. So let me just come out of this one here, so that it will not be right. Yeah. So let me get back to our discussion here, Mr. Romando. Very, very interesting topic tonight that we have to deal with. And my thing is, why then is there this whole push and drive to continuously keep saying that apparently like there must not be no East Indians within the PNM party. And when you look at the PNM party, it has all it has an all-inclusiveness that you will see not one, not two, but there are many from the East Indian brothers and sisters section who are well entrenched into the PNM because they are PNM to their heart. Until I look back, you won't believe Facebook actually showed me a video that I put up with a man cussing, literally cussing Kamala. I East Indian, you know, cussing. I said, wait now, first time I seen that, and what I mean cussing? Real cussing, eh? And you have only PNM judging saying Dr. Rowley forever. And I'm saying, but so nobody's seeing these things? Why is that from man? Why is that?
Look, again, I go back to what I said before. There are people who have their own personal opinions, their own personal axe to grind. Me, I have no axe to grind. I have nothing to prove to anyone. What I have to prove is to my family and myself. As far as our politics is concerned, we keep our politics at an arm's length from our religious beliefs. And we do not ever confuse the both. So when people say there are no people of East Indian descent or Hindus within the PNM, let me correct them. There always has been, there always will be. And I know there are some politicians who like to say, well, there's never been any Hindus in the PNM cabinet. Oi, let me explain something to you. Back then, a lot of East Indians, Indo-Trinidadians, not by choice, but basically it was a matter of personal decision to elevate their educational platforms that they converted from Hinduism to Christianity by the Canadians, the Presbyterians. It was not their choice to do so, but they had no choice if they wanted to be promoted or they wanted to move up in stature, education as a matter of fact. If they wanted to move on in their educational background, they had to do these. Case in point, Kola Renzi. Not very many people know that his name is really Rampersad Singh.
Hmm?
but he changed it in order to attend college in England. If he had carried his original name and his original religion, he would not have been allowed to attend school in England, college in England. So he changed it. The end was quite simple. It was simply to the end of furthering your educational background or staying here and twiddling your thumbs and pretending nothing is wrong. So you had a choice to make, and a lot of that does not mean that they gave up. They gave up their Hindu beliefs. It was a choice made out of necessity at the time. So anyone who said that there were no Hindus in the PNM cabinet, Dr. Winston Mahabir, who came from a strong Hindu background, his grandfather was converted to Presbyterian, primarily because there were certain things that he could not have done as a Hindu, but as a Christian, he was allowed to do by the colonial masters. Quite simple. It was a matter of necessity at the time. And I firmly believe that there are a lot of people in this country who does not understand the history of their country or the history of the politics of their country. Because you had people in the original, the beginning of the PNM, people like Ibn Mosahib, who I'm sure a lot of people would have heard of, was a strong member of the PNM. Kamaluddin Muhammad, whose family were the founder of the Mastana Bahar program, which was a
Yes.
Hindu-based program, was a member of the PNM first cabinets. So I shudder to think that there are people still in my country who possesses that ignorance, that still go about talking about us and them, we and
Well,
they.
all right, because somebody, but I think you would have answered that question because somebody was asking, why do you think people on the both sides fall for the narrative of tribal nonsense?
Well, they don't fall for it. It's an inculcated issue in the people. And you must understand that. In order to understand the politics, you must understand where you came from. When you had Dr. Williams, who was an intellectual, willing to unite the entire country, in the first instance under the Federation, well, that fell through when Jamaica decided, and by Dr. Williams' maths, 1 from 10 leaves 0. The fact remains, you had Bade Sagat Maharaj, whose power base, was within the sugar belt. And again, he used the statement back then, if you look like me, you should stand with me. Rubbish, absolute rubbish. But back then it made sense because he was dealing, in fact, as a matter of fact, like Williams, they were both dealing with a society of lesser than average education. So when you have that, an intellectual speaking, and here's the thing, and I want people to understand this. If you're going to argue with a fool, prepare to look foolish. Because a fool has no choice. They will argue to death about what they are doing is right. An intellectual, on the other hand, will sit back and smile. If that's your opinion, you are entitled to it, as wrong as it may be, but you are entitled to it. And that was Williams in a nutshell. So it was not a matter of choice. It was a matter that was inculcated into the minds and hearts of those who existed before us.
No, but somebody wants to ask the question here. Um, how come when there's tension in the party, well, when I mean tension, when the UNC is firing at the PNM, sending the missiles or the bombs or whatever they want to call it, you will see more of the Afro base, as they say, firing back, like launching attacks and all different things. But you won't see the Hindu community or the East Indian community firing back at Kabla at no particular time. But there are those who fire back, but you're not seeing them in the majority, and they are in the party. Why is that?
Again, one must fully appreciate the country and where we came from and where we are heading. You must appreciate it. The fact remains it exists on both sides, or 3 or 4 different sides. How many political parties you have? I believe for a population of 1.5 million people, I believe we have the largest amount of political parties in the world for this size population. Though the majority don't function, there are many political parties on paper that
Yes.
have ceased to exist. The fact remains the PNM is not just a party. And this is what people need to understand. The PNM is an institution. You can't fight an institution or bring down an institution. It's not a party. While it is the UNC, in its many incarnations, remains a party, primarily because the leaders of that party may not want the population of that party to fully appreciate their choices. And there are some within my own party who does the same. So when you have this happening on both sides, what do you do? Who do you blame? Most times, you do what we are doing here. You try to educate a population on the unsuspecting trauma that can happen to you by people who are of lesser education and do not understand their country. I will not go down that road. No one will advise any one of the citizens of this country to go down that road. I have a simple advice to everyone. Look, be quiet, listen. Only speak when you are sure of what you are saying. That way, there's no fear of contradiction.
So is it fair to say that the only people who are holding back themselves from moving forward in the People's National Movement is really those who want to stay in the tribalism and don't want to move themselves from that and come into the all-inclusiveness? Isn't that fair to say?
It is a fair statement to make on both sides of the fence. Do not limit to one side. Make the statement, it is a fair statement, but make it on both sides of the fence. So one must understand sometimes when you want to be fair, you must treat with ideas on both sides and you must look at it objectively. Do not let emotion guide your thoughts. Most times people tend to allow emotion to guide their thoughts. I have no such hang-up. If a member of my party is doing nonsense, I will speak to that member, albeit not in the public domain, but to that member, and see if there's a way that we can change the narrative to accommodate the wider population of people. I hope that explains that.
Well, it's basically not washing the dirty linens in the general public. Basically, is what you're saying.
Well, you must understand. I come from a culture within the PNM, and from ever since, we have always had a protective blanket around the PNM that we do not go outside of our party to discuss issues that are relevant to the well-being of our country. I hope you understand exactly what I meant by that, and your viewers understand that.
Yes,
We
yes.
do good, excellent.
I mean, you will understand. You don't wash your dirty linens in the public. You deal with it internally. That's what PNM does. I understand the intellectual section of what you will be saying, Romando, and I think that the public is understanding that very well. So they will understand what you are saying. And I don't want to say it from a layman turn, but
You
you
know, I
will put
like a little levity in between. You know, I like to throw in a little levity. It makes for good conversation.
Mhm. But in terms of education, in terms of the education, people being educated in terms of, you know, the party, is it a fair statement to say that more needs to be done in terms of knowing the history? Because in order for somebody to move forward, they must understand the past in order to go forward to the future. Do you believe that more should be done to make people more aware that hey, it is not just about one type of race, but it's an all inclusiveness in this particular institution?
There is a need for education, not just about people in the PNM and the party. There's a need for education throughout the country that people needs to understand and appreciate where our country was, where we were. We were harnessed with the under the yokes of colonialism. Call it what you want. The fact remains we were a kept people. We were told what to do and when to do it and how to do it. So over the years, if you cast a certain amount of mud against a wall, some is bound to stick. And that's
Yes.
what's happened. The colonial masters have ensured that their legacy do not die peacefully. They will fight to maintain their legacy as long as they could. It is up to the people of Trinidad and Tobago to say, enough is enough, I have had it. Let us move together as a people to build our country. Who cares who are the caretakers of our money and our treasury at this time? Who cares who we have hired to manage our economy? The fact remains they are employees of us. They are our employees. But if we decide to play the fool and refuse to educate ourselves as to how our country should be, who is to keep them in check? Who is to call them to account? Whether PNM, UNC, NDP, TLC, QRC, LGBT, it doesn't matter. The fact remains our country is in need of the people recognizing the fact that we have caretakers of our economy. And in order for our caretakers to do a good job and be absolutely sure of what they're doing, we need to call them to account from time to time. But it must be done in a respectful manner. You don't get out there on the public forum or the public platforms and use obscene language to get what you want. It don't work. It don't work. Conversation is what works. And look, I am not beyond criticism. I am not perfect. The only perfect man it had in the world was crucified. But here's the thing. I know what I know. I make no apologies for saying what I say. The fact remains that we do have a bunch of intellectual idiots in this country.
Hmm.
I make no apologies for what I said.
So, are you comfortable with the governance? Are you comfortable with the governance that we have in Trinidad and Tobago at this point in time?
I am never comfortable with any government. No one in their right mind will ever be comfortable with any government. Sometimes, even though you're a part of something, you must recognize your shortcomings. And you know, as a biblical saying, remove the log from your eye before you try to remove the splinter from your neighbor's eyes. So let us not sit here and be comfortable. As a matter of fact, let us be proactive by informing the government, whomever they will be, whether my government, my party's government, or any other party's government, is we the people of Trinidad and Tobago. We will never be comfortable to the point where we allow you to do what you want with our country and our patrimony. Simple as that.
So so as we move forward into today, I want to just look at this particular the whole question, because when you tell people that the UNC is like the PNMB team, because they was the UNC born out of the PNM?
Look, now that's a loaded question, eh? But the reality is, without the PNM, there would have been no UNC. I'm certain everyone in the country would have remembered 1976, 1972. You would remember the no vote campaign when PNM won all 36 seats. You know, at that time, it was a PNM leader who determined, in order to protect the integrity that of the people, by creating an opposition where there was none. You must remember, there were no opposition. So PNM created an opposition. And that is when Mr. Bastu Pandey became a member of the Senate, appointed by the PNM. The PNM created opposition, and he was allowed to appoint his own senators.
And that's how Bastu Pandey came in.
Well, of course. And by doing so, he brought in his own senators like Mr. Kelvin Ramnath and so on, and brought them into the parliament, Mr. John Humphrey and so on. And he became the leader of the then party that was in power, the then party that was in opposition. At the end of the term, when the PNM, when the election was called in 76, Mr. Pandey contested under the ULF, and he won 12 seats. PNM won 24. And that equations remained like that for quite a while. It never changed. So basically, it was out of the PNM that the UNC was born, simply because there was the need to always have an opposition in this country to encourage the democratic process.
So wait. So now that who was the two people again or the three people that went to form the opposition?
remember there was Mr. Joseph and some fellow from South, from,
Mm.
oh Lord have mercy. When you get to my age, you tend to forget things. But it was two members of the PNM who crossed the floor and
Right.
formed the official opposition. And on the instruction of the then leader of the PNM, Mr. Basil Pandey was first appointed as leader of the opposition in the upper house. And I agree with what one of your viewers just stated. In order to have a strong government, you must have a strong opposition. Mr. Pandey offered that to the country. Needless to say, I was not surprised when he did win and form the government, albeit for one term. But the fact remains, people were then willing to give him a chance.
No, but
So
before we reach there, if he was brought in as a senator, right? And well, you had two people who went to form, who was under the instructions to go and form an opposition and was different thing. What then became of those two people who left the PNM? Well, who had to go over to the opposition bench to form the opposition in order to bring in Basil Pandey as a senator. What then happened to them too?
I believe they were given posting outside the country as ambassadors.
Oh, okay. So they were still part and parcel of the PNM government, just
It
to make sure.
was a simple matter of maintaining the democratic process in the country by not allowing room for an autocracy to seep in and take root.
So what you're saying is that the PNM understood what was good governance to not make the people believe or have the perception in the mind that, look, we are autocratic government. We win all the seats because of the no vote campaign, but we still want to have people have a voice. They still had that democratic process, and that's still loving in their heart to say, hey, you know, one for one opposition, bringing a man to form a Senate, to be part and parcel of Senate, to be part and parcel of the Senate, and he basically allowed Basil Pandey to form his own party within
Well, of
no
course,
vote campaign.
of
But
course, and that's the whole process. That's the whole thing. You needed to maintain a democratic process.
Yeah, but what part of the world you can actually have? You have all the seats, still turn around and say, "Hey, let me take two members from our next party," and still let them say, "Who does that?"
Well, actually, the PNM does it, and it was done by no other than the father of the nation, Dr. Eric Eustace Williams, belated.
So when people say, Mr. Romando, that the PNM did nothing for this country,
you see that too, Mr. Devon. Look, that too is something I have a problem with, because in 2002, when I contested the elections in Couva North against Mr. Basil Pandey for the PNM, I was approached by numerous people who said, well, PNM did nothing for the country. And I simply agree. I humbly agreed with them. I said, you know, you are absolutely correct. I went to sleep. I must have fallen asleep for about 50 years or 30 years. I woke up and suddenly there was electricity. There were highways. There was automotives. There were vehicles on the road. Wow. I want to congratulate you. Who did that for the country? If the PNM didn't do it. Maybe in my sleep, someone waved a magic wand and we got all these things just like that because PNM did nothing for the country. All the schools that were built, all the people who were allowed free education, It was not PNM. I wonder. Possibly Margaret Thatcher. I don't know. I could be wrong. But the thing is, when you say PNM did nothing for the country, I want to tell you the reason that you can stand there and so freely speak utter rubbish is because of the PNM's choice to protect the democratic process of this country.
Protecting the democratic process of the country. And so, is there in the UNC, is there any, are they really a party, or is it, what makes up the UNC?
Well, it's a party. Let's be clear on that. The UNC is a party founded by Mr. Basdev Pandey. And most of you would have known the history of that, of how it came about in the parliament after the NAR. But the thing is, when Mr. Basdev Pandey founded the UNC, and he had some fundamental flaws in his theory. I mean, he was correct in a way, but what had happened with him, he fell victim. He fell victim to his own choices of trying to create a national party. You see, this is the thing, and this is what I keep telling people, and this is what I want people to understand. The PNM does not have to create a national party. The PNM is a national party. Mr. Pandey tried to create a national party by bringing people in like Carlos John and so on, whom he would have thought would have possessed the ability to get involved with the fellow on the street and have an interaction. Unfortunately, one must understand, when you grow up in a sheltered environment, away from the people that you want to represent, you tend not to understand what they need, because your environment has prepared you intellectually for a different purpose. And that purpose does not allow you to incorporate the everyday man in the street into your plans. And that is where Mr. Pandey went wrong. If he had gone to the people on the ground instead and bring in and said, look at what PNM did. Back then, PNM brought in senators from the ground. Fellas who are part of the everyday machinery on the ground, fellas who you will see liming on the street corner, playing some cards, playing some all fours with the fellas on the corner. A man who is not afraid to stop and sit among the fellows and have a drink with them and play some cards or some draft or some dominoes. This is what PNM was about and still is. We incorporate and bring everyone under the umbrella of unity. And that is what PNM is about. Those within the PNM from time to time who would have said things and made statements that may not have sounded too good in the eyes of the population or the public, I can tell you, it's not because they want to. The fact remains that they are not able to properly express themselves, and by so doing, they would have made statements that was erroneous.
I just want to remind you, co-host, Romando, that sometimes you had to bring it down for the man who may not understand what you just say. So I think you had to break it down a little more finer than what you just said.
But Mr. Devon, I thought that is what you were there for, that you can translate.
Well, yeah. So you want me? So wait. I had to take the intellectual talk and break it down. Like you're taking macaroni and you break it up and put it in the pot and mash it up now so that people will eat this long thing when they're picking it out to the when they're taking it out to strain it. All right, I
Well,
understand. I understand.
exactly. Devon, in order to make scrambled eggs, you got to break a few eggs.
No, because last time when we had when uh we had Mr. Vassam Barrett who was here, and he would have spoken about a number of things in terms of certain things not going right and all the different things in the country. But when I look at how Trinidad has been developed from since in time immemorial, and I follow the history, and I really understand the politics, unlike some people who say they understand the politics, but they just be calling you all after 12 and 1 in the morning to ask you about the politics of Trinidad and Tobago and who do this and who do that. But he was talking about the washable voter ink in the UNC. When the PNM have internal election, is there anything such called a washable ink that you could go and vote 15 times in the PNM party when they have an internal election?
No, no. To my knowledge, there isn't.
So one man, one vote, basically. No,
That
but before
that
it was,
that that's it.
well, now we have one man, one vote, and that's because um, the Honorable Dr. Keith Rowley would have brought that and implement that into the new system now.
That is correct.
Because long time it was delegate system.
That's right.
Right.
And the delegate system can be manipulated quite easily.
So you see, I do understand my politics, because there are those who I would listen and hear talking and pushing this tribalism. And I keep saying, well, if we are supposed to be a cosmopolitan country, why are we still pushing this tribalism kind of thing as though? Because when I do check it out, I may look this particular way, but I tell you, Romando, I have family that if you see them, you will
Well,
want to know
Devon, you
where.
don't have to explain that to me. I know that.
So where we get this thing of, because I look like this, I must only associate, or I must only deal with, or I must only be aligned to. Where they getting them thing from? Or people like yourself must only be aligned to. Where are they getting that from? And when are we going to move away from? You look like me, so we must not go against one another. We must work together as one. Where they getting them thing from?
Well, Devon, look, I have been called all kinds of things in my lifetime. Sometimes,
Really?
well, people call me all sorts of things. Me personally, I could care less because what I enjoy in my life today, and as you well know, Devon, a few years ago, my wife passed away from renal failure.
Yes.
It was a shock to me. Last year, my mother passed away.
Mm-hmm.
That further compounded my grief and my attitude towards people and things. And I'm saying it is only when you came to me and asked me to be your co-host that I felt the need to start coming back out there and saying things and speaking on particular issues. The fact remains, Devon, I do
Mm-hmm.
not think anyone should waste their time thinking about what people or individuals would have said and ascribing those thoughts to the PNM. Instead, they should be more analytical in their approach and look at the person. And they always say, before you drink from a pipe, check and see if there's rust at the tip. Clean it out.
So here we have another one again now that I have to try and translate and break it down. But
Whatever that is what you're good at.
well, where do we now the governance structure is 100% strong in the kingdom. I have to tell you that. It has not changed. It would not change unless there's the conference. Well, you have the internals. You have the internals. Well, you have the constituency first. Then you will have, well, the first is you have party groups. For those who don't know how it is work, Mr. Romando, you have party groups. And then you will have the constituency. So you have the party groups. They will pick the people for the different thing. Then you will have the constituency. And then from the constituency, now you move on to the national body. And people are free to enter the race and offer themselves up. But apparently on some other slates, like in the UNC, not a damn dog bark, and it's now the mantra. And you have a lady who basically is stagnating the governance or stagnating the party. Where does UNC fall in terms of any form of governance structure as a so-called party?
Devon, look, what goes on in the UNC is not for me to criticize or condemn, nor is it for me to promote. However, I will advise this. Whenever a leader of any organization starts to become obsolete, it starts to show. And by doing so, the followers must then choose and decide what is in the best interest of that organization. Is it to continue the way they are and maintain the status quo, or is it to change and see if in that change you can immediately create a situation or an environment that will allow your organization to grow and maintain a decent rapport with the existing population. I don't see, I think this is why after the passing of Dr. Williams, this is why in the PNM, you have had numerous changes at the leadership level. And here today you have a leader who is now telling you that he's not there to stay and he's now considering retirement. I applaud that because it simply says, unlike other institutions, the PNM have recognized the fact that we need from time to time to change our leaders and change. It's like you get up every morning, you brush your teeth, you take your shower, what have you, you put on clean clothes. And you may wear the same set of clothes for 2 days, but after 2 days you decide you need to change your clothes. It's the same thing. I'm not saying that in 2 days you're going to change your leader, but it's the same principle that after a while, leaders need to recognize that they have contributed as much as they can contribute to the well-being of an institution, and we must now step aside and allow someone else to continue the battle, even though we can stay there and offer our advice to the new individual. And I think that augurs well for the PNM. I think the changes that we have gone through, it will not be described as a metamorphosis as other institutions are being described, because we have always remained with one thing for sure. The name People's National Movement have never changed, and I don't see it changing for quite a long time.
Hmm. Well, I don't think it will ever change. In fact, they have a new building. Well, they renovate the old building. They have a new building now that is almost to completion. And I think that is one of Dr. Rowley's legacy that he'll be leaving the
Correct?
political landscape with, to show that, well, look, the PNM has a headquarters. Well, they turned the two-story building now into a three-story building in terms of PNM on the and the whole block there now is now PNM block, you can say. And I really want to appreciate that, and not just appreciate it, but look at a history of a party, building an institution that you can now go to school at the PNM headquarters. Imagine that, you know. They could go to school now at the PNM headquarters and learn about where PNM came from to where it is going. And really and truly, that speaks volumes about a governance structure in a political party. Am I
Yes,
wrong or right?
I agree with you. I agree with you. Look, the governance structure in any party, and I want to agree with your commentator just now, your individual who wrote across the street. The first thing about good leadership and good governance is
Mm,
leaders need to make themselves dispensable. No one, no one was born into a position. No one. You acquire that position over a period of time. But then over a period of time, before you become obsolete, you step out and allow the process to continue. With every, and you know, there's a saying, a new broom sweeps clean.
mm,
So whenever you have a change and you have an ongoing change like that, what can happen is only two things. You can move up or you can continue along the path that you are going. And I think within the PNM, whenever we change, we tend to move and continue along the path, but we tend to move up. And that is PNM. Always has been, always will be. I can't speak for any other institution because I do not fully understand other parties as I would like to, but I don't understand it that well. My conversations with different people in different parties would have provided me with a slight insight as to what is going on. However, not enough to make an intelligent decision as to what I think is wrong or what I think is right about those parties.
mm. So we're going to see an internal election coming up very soon on the in the UNC, and we have internals that is also coming up in the People's National Movement. But showdown is going to be probably just now. All right. Yeah, but we are going to see a showdown on the 15th. Just a minute, I don't know when it's going to be. Yeah, so we're going to see a showdown on the 15th. In your estimate, do you believe that some of these people who who want to offer themselves up on the so-called Kamala slate will have a fighting chance in gaining political survival in this upcoming election on June the 15th?
I can't make a concerted decision.
Mr. Romando?
Yes, I'm hearing you. I cannot make a decision, nor can I say it for a fact anything concerning that.
All right, go ahead.
I will not want to do that, primarily because I do not understand the process enough. However, I can say this. Unlike within the PNM, when someone contests leadership in the PNM, it is done so in a dignified manner. I do not believe in anyone getting out there and ridiculing or otherwise belittling a leader simply for their own purpose of self-aggrandization. I don't think that is correct. If you have a problem, deal with it. Speak of it with the individual. You know, let me go back to a statement that a friend of mine made today. When you're dealing with people who have an ABC catch a crab mentality, what do you expect? I am not saying anyone in particular. I'm just repeating what my friend said. But you could translate Mr. Devon Welch.
No. I think that there are many intellectuals who are sitting down right here on this program, and they are very much comfortable in what you are saying. Because let me tell you something, I am not going to be going. I think it's time that we start elevating the educational level of people who listen to talk radio and also who listen to blogs on the social media. In fact, what I
See me, so long you not see me, when you see me, I will take it away. So long you not see me, when you see me, I will take it away. So long you not see me, woman said they want feel me, promoter said they need me. To mash up the place, to rip up the place, so can music don't steal me, and the power reveal me. Some woman claim that they dream me. I swear. So long you not see me, when you see me, I will take it away. So long you not see me, when you see me, I will take it away. I miss all the commotion and all the promotion and crossing the ocean and all the celebration and all my friends together at one location. I swear. So long you not see me, when you see me, I will take it away. So long you not see me. So long you not see me, when you see me, I will take it away. So long you not see me. So long you not see me. Woman said they want feel me, promoter said they need me. To mash up the place, to rip up the place, so come music and steal me. The power feel me. Some woman say they dream me.
Yes, never live,
I
never
swear,
feel.
I swear, I swear. So long you know, so long you know, so long you know, see me. So long, so long, so long, so long, so long, so long.
So I am back, I am back, I am back. Yes, I am back. Yeah, so I am back. Let me. So I am back, and let me see if I can get back my co-host here. As we look to wrap up, sometimes when you're having fun and you're discussing realities, just now, let me just tell. Oh, yes. Yeah. I and I. So, yeah, so we want to thank everybody. My co-host is trying to get back in. And in the back, we are seeing our harbor. Yes, that was a harbor. So he's trying to get back in. But really and truly, yes, we'll have to get a generator. We'll have to get a generator. And because I ain't gonna lie. All the time it moving smooth, current just poof. Yeah. What I gonna do next time? I go in by the pole. I go in by that pole and make sure that and take nowhere wrong. And if they're not wrong and the electricity current go down because of some low voltage, I am going to try to see if I can mend back them wires properly for TNT and make sure the current is flowing so that when we having these kind of program, there's no for the generator to try and kick in. So it's all about, and one thing I could say is that Mr. David Cassie, they're going again, the sticking. I ain't hearing David at all. Now I ain't gonna make jail. I just making sure I help TNT make sure that there's no power outage when you have an important discussion taking place on the Dauntless Defenders of Good Governance. So my co-host seems to be, well, yes, last time it was the breeze. Well, the breeze stopped blowing and we fixed it. We switched the antenna and we make sure the antenna is not getting that breeze signal breaking. You know what they say, wind breaking? Well, we're not getting that signal breaking anymore. And it's free flow. But for some strange reason, we not say, nobody can laugh. Yes, David, you see David laughing. David laughing and used to be saying, the stick again, boy, the stick again. Oh, what? Technical problems, everybody laughing. No, they're not laughing again. They're not laughing again. And for those who missed it, and we are going to be bringing back Nicole Prince. So Nicole Prince is back in our news department, and our news department will be fully functioning as we are putting the staff together. Yes, the news department will be fully functioning.
Hmm. That's certainly what's going on. Seems there's some technical difficulty at this time.
Oh God, hey, yeah. I should not talk too sooner. Like as David reached, the jinx start back again, but I nothing. But I was, but really and truly interesting topic, Mr. Romando, Mr. Romando, and really and truly we need to do some more education because I think that people not understanding that we have moved this country. This country is how old, Mr. Romando?
Well, if you calculate the dates from discovery
1960.
or so-called discovery to now, I can't say our democracy is more than 56, 60 years old, but the country itself is a lot older.
Yes,
Remember,
because it's over.
remember, the native Indians discovered Columbus a long time ago. Hmm.
Oh God, hey, never the dull moment in Trinidad and Tobago. I moved to Studio B. Yes, I have moved to Studio B. And so when Studio A is giving trouble, I now move to Studio B. So please, yeah, okay. Oh, okay. So you want to say, oh, you're gonna hum or something, so all right, no problem. But so we're gonna wrap up tonight's show, right? Because we have to sort out the little what we call the wires and from Studio B being affected by um, these little power outage that have been taking place. But it was a very good show tonight. I do really would have liked Mr. Romando, my new co-host, to come back in because sometime when I will not be here, my co-host will now be taking the position and moving forward with the program. And I know that we have more programs coming, more co-hosts coming, and more and more things to unveil to you all. Well, you all saw the news department, as I told you all, is fully functioning. And yes, we will continue this conversation. We will have to continue this conversation. This will be part one, and we will have to do part two in this whole thing, and really start looking at raising the bar in terms of intelligent talk, not bacchanal and kusho all the time, but intelligent that that we will be bringing here every day. Please, I don't want people breaking in here. Let me just stop this. Right. Uh, nice. I don't want studio. I don't want Studio B. Yes, I don't want Studio B to go down. I need Studio B to be here. So look out for our news department as we'll be bringing in news. And let me tell you all something that there was some police who would have shot and killed some individuals today, and you would have had and I really want to start applauding Miss Ula for leading her troops. She has been given another extension in 1 year, and I know that there are some macho idiots within her department, although she has the full complement of our executive now, which is all the top cops, to work along with her. There are still those who believe at different levels, and she is weeding them out one by one, making sure that justice is served. She is weeding them out and really making sure that things are done in a proper manner and above board and to good standards. So I want to really applaud the police commissioner. And let me tell you something. I will have to bust a certain mark because let me say it here tonight. Let me say it here tonight. Some people believe that giving certain individuals in communities money to carry out nefarious things against or terrorist acts against people within their own community as well as outside of the community, they believe that that will, make the country look bad, make a particular area look bad when the police catch them. Because they don't realize that when you take that money and you go out there and you commit these acts, you don't know who you're going to bounce up. You don't know who may be undercover. You don't know who is going to be waiting for you to get rid of you. Don't let nobody use you and throw you in no bamboo and tell you about join this and join that and join the other. Stay focused. There's a number of programs that are happening. East Port of Spain is giving away, well, not giving away, but they are helping anybody who wants to go into business $20,000. Why are we not talking those type of language? Why are we not speaking to people about, hey, you have a project? Well, come now. We will help you. And I want to put it out there because a man said nobody is watching, but he was watching. And if you don't want to watch it because you don't want to learn, and you don't want to understand what this program is all about, this program is not about just carrying you down the road and, okay, you have a good show tonight and it sounds good and everything happening. But it's also about educating you, helping you, developing you, making you grow to a different level when you come and you are part of bounceup.com. We are not going to leave people undone. We are going to help them. And if they want help, because you can't force people to get them help. If a man wants help, he knows where to come. And if we have to do a public drive and continue to do a public drive, then they must come. Nobody forcing them, but come. We're not begging you. We're not telling you. We're not trying to intimidate you. But we are about helping you to get to the next level. Even artists, young businessmen, we have helped many of them. We have helped many of them. We are not boasting about who. We're not telling you when or who or how we're doing it for them. We are not about that. But if you want help, you have an idea, you need that help, tell a friend, to tell somebody that we are willing to help you. We are willing to put these things, because at the end of the day, East Port of Spain can be giving away $20,000, but you had to work with a business plan. You had to look to organize your business. You had to make sure you have certain things and reach a certain level before you can even get it. We are here to help you. So it's not about just coming to get 10,000 people watching the show. I just always tell people, I'd rather have 10 people watching my show and the word is out there and they come in and they asking for that support because they want the support. Then I have 400-500 people coming and talking and they ain't getting nothing done. And every time I only begging, I want this, I need to get this, oh yeah, I want this, and I'm giving away this, and I'm giving away that, and I'm giving away this, and that is not helping the people. That is not helping the people. And that is why the mandate will be help the people. And we are here to serve you. We have no political intention more than to support the good governance that we are seeing happening at this point in time. So As I tell you, East Port of Spain, so you again rent-free mall space. Look at how much things East Port of Spain Development Company is offering. East Port of Spain, even help people. And I'm going to see if I can get somebody, either the chairman or somebody from East Port of Spain to come on the program. Because you see, if we're not educating the people to let them know what is available to them, even though they're seeing it, and the detractors telling people what is about criminals and they're supporting criminals, then those who went up into Laventille to have so-called town meeting, they better ask themselves the question, why some people within their own party was sharing 5 and 10,000 and 15,000 and $20,000 the night of that meeting. And they need to come clean and tell the population if money did not serve at the meeting. And if money was served at the meeting, why? Why was money served at a meeting that is supposed to be dealing with, at a town meeting that dealing with things of the community and crime and all the different things? Why was money served? And a certain individual, a certain MP must tell this nation why certain cameras in her constituency was allowed to go up on poles to monitor the police while she was getting beat out in her old house in the area. She must tell the nation that. You see, they don't want to talk. But as I tell people, we need to bring the reality to people. And we are going to bring it real and raw to them. If they don't like it, they're their business. So tomorrow we have conversation with the Prime Minister. Yes, tomorrow we have conversation with the Prime Minister at 8 p.m. So there will be no culture point tomorrow. It will be a special broadcast. There will be a special broadcast and we will be streaming it live right here on not Dauntless Defenders, but we'll be broadcasted on Bounce Up Central and broadcasted on all our platforms. We will open up the chat room so that you can chat and put in your 2 cents, regardless of what. Our chat room will be open. So we will be streaming it tomorrow live from Tobago. And so you can be part and parcel of that. And I think that we'll be also bringing something live, I think very soon. I have to confirm it, but we'll be bringing something live. I think it's either from the Parliament, but we'll be bringing something live. And if not tomorrow, okay, David is saying he thinks it's next week Thursday. So we will have to confirm whether or not if it's tomorrow or if it has been changed to next week Thursday. And but we will be bringing the conversation with the Prime Minister live right here on Bounce Up Central. The chat room always open. So we will be bringing that live to you. So without further ado, I know it's minutes to 10. I know it's minutes to 10, and we have, well, those of you who have work to do in the morning, I know you all are going to be going. Have a productive night. 23rd, oh, the 23rd. Okay, it'll be on the 23rd. So thanks, David, for that cleanup, and let's share the live. Let's grow the live. And let's spread our information, the correct information, the proper information, right here on Bounce Up Central. Have a blessed night. Enjoy your night. Director, could you take us out?